takeover is here. Sorry I'm late, but I got computer problems. My guy CP probably on a date somewhere with his wifey. It's the J Ellis takeover, the KOT show. We're gonna get into it. Let's get it.
KnicksFanTV. Y'all watching KnicksFanTV.
Alright, bro. Thanks, man.
What's going on, Knicks fans? It's post-game live with J Ellis, holding it down with my guy CP out, probably on a date with wifey. We're gonna talk about this game. Another brutal loss for us Knicks fans. It's getting harder and harder to stomach out here. 20-point losses here and there, but it's to be expected from this team. The Knicks lose to the 76ers, 131 to 109. Tim Hardaway Jr. fought valiantly. He had plantar fasciitis. He ends up scoring 26. Kevin Knox looks great in the first half as usual. Slows down in the second quarter. The coach made some interesting lineup changes. We never saw Trey Burke. We never saw Mario Hezonja. Mario Hezonja only gets 4 minutes today. And he's replaced by Lance Thomas. And Lance Thomas played 17 minutes a day, has 3 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist, no steals, no blocks, minus 12. Was that the right decision to start Lance over Mario? I don't know. I'll talk to the chat, see how you guys feel about that. Also, Dotson. It's the return of my guy, Free Dot. Damian Dotson came back. Not a bad night. 6 for 11. 2 from 6 from three-pointers, though, but 6 from 11. The Knicks just did not have enough. We didn't have enough to fight these guys off, man. It's the 76ers. You know how it is with the 76ers. I don't know. It seems like they have our number, guys, but they have everybody else's number. 76ers lost twice in a row. Knicks did everything we could. For some reason, as good as we're playing on the offensive side of the ball, we just can't seem to stop anybody defensively. I don't know what is going on. I know we had a good defensive unit when we had the Frank, Timmy, Dotson, Mitchell Robinson lineup, Von Lay back in the day. That was probably still our best defensive lineup today. But so far the Fizz kids and Fizdale could not figure out how to get defense out of this group. Moutier. For all you Moutier fans or haters, Moutier had an off night today. 32 minutes. Had 11 points. Only shot 3 or 12. With 5 assists. Now, I like the assist. I still like the way Moutier is running the team, even though the shots weren't falling today. I'm still kind of Team Moutier right now. I know we've all been hard on Moutier from the beginning of the season. And I know people have come to the altar. But right now, I'm loving how Moutier is running this team. So, shout out to Moutier. It's an off night tonight for the guy Moutier, but hopefully he gets back into that. And you know what, too? I want to let you know how you guys feel about Tim Hardaway Jr., man. How do you guys still feel about Tim Hardaway Jr.? Because right now, I kind of feel bad for crapping on him. His last good game was versus Portland. To my opinion, I gave him the biggest compliment I've had of Tim Hardaway Jr. all year. To me, that was his most controlled, most precise game. And ever since that Portland game, he hasn't been shooting well. He's missing open threes. He hasn't been taken to the hole well. And now you find out that he has plantar fasciitis. Now, if you know, Lance Thomas suffered from plantar fasciitis a couple of years ago, and it took him out. He missed most of the season. So it's hard for a guy to play with a plantar fasciitis and be effective. So, guys out there in the chat, do you feel like Tim Hardaway Jr.'s plantar fasciitis gives him a pass? Let me know in the chat how do you feel about plantar fasciitis and Tim Hardaway Jr. And I'm gonna get to these phone lines right quick and talk some Knicks. Of course, we always gotta start off the show with guy Julian. Julian is out here waiting, talking Knicks with us. I'm gonna bring in Julian right now. Let's go. Yo, what's going on, Julian? What?
What's up, man?
What's going on, man? Trying to hold it down. I know everybody. I know I got the wrong ticker down, but my computer's acting crazy. Wouldn't let me change out the ticker, so I know it says Nets, but bear with me today. but yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, how you feel about the game, man?
Man, tough loss, tough loss. Look, you know what this game reminded me of? This game reminded me of the first Philly game. We just got our butts handed to us.
Yeah.
But hey, it's another step on the road to Cam Reddish. You know, I'm now the conductor of the Cam Reddish Nick Tank train.
Oh, so you for Cam?
We need to
Cam over Zion?
Cam. Okay. Oh no, look, I love Zion as a player. I really do. I think he's the best thing since sliced bread in terms of being fun to watch. But the guy, he's too reckless. He jumps around too much. I can easily see him jumping, his head hitting the backboard, and then like tearing his ACL when he jumps.
Yeah, man.
I don't really think anybody. I really don't. But like, you feel like the guy is almost too athletic. Like, it's not even fair what he does. But that's easy. Also, I think Cam's probably a better fit with our team.
Okay.
But enough of that. I want to get to my main point, main takeaway from tonight.
Okay. You say you can't.
Why is Frank Ntilikina getting 16 minutes? Why is Damian Dotson getting 22 minutes? Look, it's just it's like these questionable playing time decisions. Given that we're in a tanking development year and we're not developing the guys. Granted, we're losing games, but we're not developing these kids. I like Moutier. I think he's a fine player, but he's not going to be the point guard of our future, and I don't think he's going to be involved with our future at all. So why not play the guy you drafted and you have team control over and see what he can offer and let him get his butt kicked by Ben Simmons? Ben Simmons was already kicking our butt, so why not let the kid who, like, you know you need, well, you don't need, but you know you want to have a future with the guy because you drafted him. Why not give him some time on the court playing against the best?
I feel. I mean, I agree with you. Listen, Moody. Fizdale has done a good job developing Moody thus far. So I can't, and you can see what he's doing with Knox right now. Knox is turned around, Moody's done turned around, and some guys kind of just develop faster than others. Now, but I do agree with the Dotson point, and the only reason I agree with that is because Tim Hardaway Jr. is battling plantar fasciitis, so it seems kind of weird to kind of just keep playing him these big minutes when we have 27 other guards here who can use development as well.
The chat, by the way, the chat saying you need to turn the volume up on the phone. They can't hear you well.
Yeah, I turned it. I turned it up to the maximum, but I guess it's not working still.
Maybe you. I don't know. But yeah. So there's that, and then also I'd probably say, look, I find it so coincidental that we're a worse defensive team when Ennis Cantor and Emmanuel Moutier are the primary fix for them. It's such a coincidence. Like, I have no idea why. It's so weird. Like, who would have thought that Moutier and Cantor couldn't defend the pick and roll? I mean, it's not like they've been exposed to that their entire career up until they came to New York. So I don't know why, like, we're putting out the same lineup every night and we're expecting different results. That's what we're doing. And this needs to stop with this Jim Boeheim Yeah. I know he was supposed to be bad this year, but I forgot that being bad comes with losing games.
Yo, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, Julian.
Single day.
Yo, hold on 1 second, Julian. Yo, in the chat, can you hear Julian all right? Chat, can you hear Julian all right? I got the volume all the way up to the maximum. For some reason, the chat can't hear.
I don't think they can.
Yo, can you hear it now? How's it right now? No? Everybody's saying no, no, no. Audio's back. Audio's back? Okay, people are saying the audio's back. Alright, so y'all can hear Julian right now? Thumbs up if you can hear Julian.
I don't think they can hear me.
Yo, this is crazy. Technical difficulties. I got the volume all the way up. For some reason, it's still not. What is happening?
I think you might have to like move the phone closer.
Now I can hear you. I can hear you perfectly through my speaker, but for some reason, it's not coming through the program and to the audience, which is the main problem right now. Wait, maybe if I unplug, hold on. Hold on, let me unplug my headset. Hold on. All right, can y'all hear me now? In the chat, can you hear me? Yo, what's good, chat? Can you hear me? Nope. You can hear me?
Yeah, I'm listening to you as well. I can hear you.
Alright, can the chat hear me? The chat's saying no sound. Alright, yo. Alright, we back? Alright, cool. Sorry about that. Not sure what happened. All I did was unplug the headset and plug it back in, and then all of a sudden it started working. Alright. Alright, cool. Back to your regularly scheduled program. Sorry guys. Things like this happen, especially when you got all this technology going. Alright, so what we talking about? We was talking about Cam Reddish, I think you was talking about.
Yes, sir. Alright, so Cam Reddish, 6'8", but has 7-foot wingspan, silky smooth wing, has a Duke. The guy can pull up from 30 feet. He can attack the basket. He can pick apart defenses with the pick and roll. He's just a prototypical successful guard in the league. Guard forward prospect. He's everything you want in a guy. So it is him. I think he's going to be an excellent player. And I think he's probably the most NBA-ready prospect out of the Duke trio.
Oh.
I think RJ still needs some coaching. I think Zion needs a lot of coaching. But, yeah.
So you
look, they're just used to winning games purely off of their athleticism and bodying people up.
got it.
So the jump from number one, high school to college is big, and I think you saw that in the loss to Gonzaga when they actually played some veteran college players.
Alright. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, Julian. I'm sorry. I gotta cut you. The audio's acting strange.
I got you.
Alright. Alright, so we're gonna switch up the show format. So what we're gonna do right now is just put your questions into the chat, into that little form right there, and I'll read your questions through this. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties, guys. It happens. It happens. But yeah, Knicks lose. Hold on 1 second. I just gotta get to this Google form. But the player brought up a good point, though. The player was talking about, Julian was talking about Trey Burke not playing, and he was trying to figure out why Trey Burke wasn't playing. Now, Trey Burke got some burn when Tim Hardaway Jr. was sitting down, but you know what? With Tim Hardaway back and Frank Ntilikina still needs to be developed, and also with Frank being a defensive guard, I couldn't understand why Fizz chose Frank over Trey. Easy. So that's why I think at that point you kind of have to go with Frank over Burke, considering that he's going to be here 3 more years. And I love Trey Burke. I love what Trey Burke brings to this team. I love his offensive punch that he has. He gave us a few 30-point games. But long term, it's going to be Frank Ntilikina over Trey Burke. It just is what it is right now. It's going to be Frank Ntilikina over Trey Burke. And I would not be surprised if when the trade deadline comes down, Trey Burke is packaged with Courtney Lee to clear up some cap space for the 2019 free agency. I wouldn't be surprised about that at all. So, and you know what, too? I know the caller talked about Frank Ntilikina not getting a lot of minutes this game. Emmanuel Mudiay got minutes over Frank Ntilikina, and Frank Ntilikina only got a few minutes this game. Frank Ntilikina played 16 minutes. 16 minutes with 3 points, 1 for 7. Not that much. Not that many minutes. Now, I do want to say this thing about Frank. Frank played pretty aggressive for the short stint that he played. So I kind of like the aggressiveness from Frank. The shots aren't falling. In this game, we need people who can hit shots. Point blank period. You just need people who can hit shots. And the shots weren't falling for him. So you know what? I would take that any day of the week. I do like how he got to the hole early. I do feel like his aggression is picking up ever since that benching. I feel like he's pushing the ball a little bit more, but the shots just ain't falling. He's still 20 years old. We'll see when I get out of him later. And hopefully he'll be able to turn it around. Now, I definitely heard about the Tim Hardaway Jr. trade rumors. I don't know how valid this is. I don't know how valid this is at all. Now, it would be dope if Tim Hardaway Jr. was traded for Wesley Matthews. Wesley Matthews was suffering in Dallas. He had a huge injury, and he was never the same. Once he got his money, he was never the same. Now, I think that if we get Matthews here, all it is right now for Matthews is a salary dump, right? It's a salary dump. If we end up getting Matthews, we'll be that much closer to getting a free agent next season. And it's funny because when you look at our roster, right, and you're looking at the KD watch or the Kyrie watch, you kind of figure, you know what, for KD to come to the Knicks, we're going to have to shed a lot of salary cap, first and foremost. But the way things are rolling, you would think the way that Tim Hardaway Jr. is playing, you would think that Timmy would be the hardest to trade. So this rumor that the Dallas wants to get rid of Wesley Matthews and give us a second round pick on top of that for Tim Hardaway Jr., it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. But I might do that deal. Now, here's the thing. I was kind of upset at Tim Hardaway Jr. for the way he's been playing lately. I know a lot of the chat agrees with me. He hasn't been playing well lately. But also, I also know that that plantar fasciitis might have a lot to do with it, bro. The plantar fasciitis might have a lot to do with it. With that being said, does Tim Hardaway Jr. get some play for having plantar fasciitis? Does that erase everything bad that Tim Hardaway Jr. has done his last few weeks? Because maybe, just maybe, there's still a player in there, man. There's still a player in there. So maybe there's something there. Maybe, because listen, Tim Hardaway Jr., granted, has been shooting bad. For some reason, he's still third in the NBA with pull-up three-pointers. But at the end of the day, he's been shooting badly, right? But during this bad stretch, he hasn't really been getting to the line. And you kind of have to figure that he hasn't been getting to the line because of his plantar fasciitis, and he hasn't been aggressive. Now, also, we all been getting into him on his defense as well. So you kind of also figure, well, maybe the defense hasn't been good because of the plantar fasciitis. So you know what? Let me know. Would you, at this point, trade Tim Hardaway Jr. now if that trade is indeed real? Now, granted, this is all hearsay. This is not real. This guy who says that he has inside information, he doesn't have a blue check. He's not Woj. He's not Ian Begley. I don't know this guy from a can of paint. Would you guys trade Tim Hardaway Jr. or do you feel that this is all just a product of him playing through injuries, and he can turn it around? Like today, he had 1 day off, and he ends up going 10 to 10 from the free throw line, getting back to the line, same thing as he was doing before, and he had an effective game for us, even though he hasn't played all recently. Is his defense being brought down by his foot? And I'll leave it at that. I see some people saying yes, they would trade him. Yes, he would trade him. Knicks should try to trade for Marvin Bagley. That's funny. I think it's mad early for that. But thanks to the chat for holding on with me, man. Yo, shout out to June, shout out to S Parker, shout out to King Biggie TV, shout out to the Above the Rim, shout out to Delani Steele Jr., shout out to Omar Youssef, shout out to Ace Bezel, shout out to everybody rocking with Post Game Live. I'm about to get to these questions right now. Alright, so questions so far. So Ace Bezel wants to know, he sends in the question, how long before we start keeping it real about how bad Frank is? Ace, I know you're not a Frank guy, man. And listen, I know Frank on the offensive end isn't playing up to par. We all can see it. That's why Moutier is starting right now. But I keep saying this over and over again. At the end of the day, he's still a pretty good defensive player, man. He still is. Last year, with the numbers, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. He was still the #1 pick and roll defensive point guard in the NBA. And you have to figure, as a young guy, the defensive end of the ball is still the hardest thing to learn. And there's guys out here taking 3, 4, 5 years to develop. Moutier is just starting to see some burn, some shine. Vonleh is just starting to put some stuff together. So I'm no Nostradamus, but I'm still willing to bet that in a few years, Frank Ntilikina will be a pretty good NBA player, a pretty good 3-and-D guy. He just has to keep up the mindset, man. He just has to keep the mindset. I know somebody else still gonna say he's trash. Da 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 da. He just has to keep at that mindset, dog. And whether it's here or another team, whether the Knicks are still patient enough to keep things going and to stick with him, I still feel like Frank Ntilikina will end up being a great guard down the line. That just is what it is. Alright, now Dark Shadow Media TV asks a question. It says, is it me, or does this coaching stuff, or this is coaching staff, my bad, look like they don't have any clue on the defensive end? Dog, I don't think it's the coaching staff, man. Listen, Fizz is known as a defensive guy. His reputation was a defensive guy. He was in the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies were a pretty good defensive team when Fizz was there. And when Fizz left, their defense suffered for it. It's not really Fizz, man. It's the pieces. When Julian called earlier, he said, you wonder why the defense is so bad when we have Enes Kanter and Moutier starting in the starting lineup. And it's true. We don't have the horses, dog. We don't have the horses to play defense. We don't. And at the same time, listen, the Knicks players feel like they don't have the horses to play defense. Because as you know, the Knicks started to play zone basketball. And that was the players. The players suggested they play zone basketball, not the coach. The coach is trying to teach them defensive principles, stuff he was probably teaching in the Grizzlies. He tried to bring that back here to New York, and it just wasn't working. We just don't have the horses. Right now, we're in a conundrum where we don't really have a lot of two-way players. Our best offensive players are bad at defense, and our best defensive players are bad at offense. Fizz chose to ride with the offense for now because we won a few games with our offensive players, but it seems like that strategy might have run out of gas or run its course, and we're going to have to see what's going to happen going forward. I'm hoping that, you know what, going forward, we're going to have to look for the little things. I don't really think we're ever going to be a good defensive team this year. We're going to have to wait on guys like Mitch Robinson to kind of develop. Luke Cornett seems he has defensive principles there, but Like I said, he's good on defense, bad on offense. We're gonna have to wait on certain guys to develop to become an actual complete two-way team. Our best two-way player right now, to me, seems to be Dotson. Point blank. Period. So yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Thanks for the question, though. Dark Shadow Media. Jab the God 88 says, do you see the Nets being a bigger threat in the market with them having a bigger cap next year and them being a year ahead of us in the process? Man. Cleveland. Listen, Java the God, to answer your question, yeah. It pains me to say it because I hate the bum-ass Nets. I hate the Brooklyn paint jobs. But with the Nets having the cap space they have, and with the Nets going on that little winning streak they're going on right now, yeah. They're right now, they are a threat. They are a threat. I can't even lie, man. Weird Day Holyfield, they are a threat. Dinwiddie's playing well. Those guys are playing well. And they are a threat to win. Now, we do have a wild card. We still have Frank Ntilikina. I mean, not Frank Ntilikina. We still have Kristaps Porzingis kind of on the mend. So we still really can't see what our team is going to look like without him back. But they're also missing a player too, which also makes it, a sticky situation. But at the end of the day, the best player between the Nets and the Knicks is Frank Ntilikina. So I can see our momentum changing with the free agency if KP comes back at a pretty decent, maybe February or so, and shows that he can still ball. And then I can see some things start to happen for us. Then I can see that maybe we can kind of compete with the Nets. But as of now, with the Nets winning streak and their cap space, yeah, Nets are a legit threat for us on that end. It's sad to say, but yeah, it's true. So, Ayopo asks, this is Frank's second year. Why do we keep defending him? Can you talk about some points of why Frank should stay? His peers for his same draft class are already ahead of him. Ah, man. Okay. So, yeah, we all know this is Frank's second year, right? But a lot of people, including me, feel like even though this is Frank's second year, he really didn't get the reps. You know what I mean? When Jeff Hornacek was running the Knicks, he really didn't get the reps with Frank. So you figured he had a year under his belt as a professional, but did he really have a year under his belt as a professional? It remains to be seen. Jared Jack was the running the offense last year, and Frank was learning from Jared Jack. Now I appreciate what Jared Jack did. I seen him coaching Frank on the sidelines, but I still feel like Frank was kind of lacking in the experience department a little bit because he hasn't gotten the minutes. And the same thing this season, man. And this season is different because you're thinking, all right, Fizz has Frank. He has to play him. But Fizz came here to develop young players. He didn't come here to play favorites. Frank is not the only point guard on his team. Moutier is here on his team as well. And Moutier is playing better. Now, it would speed up Frank's development if he had a certain amount of minutes per game to actually make mistakes and play through them. But that's not the case right now. We have Moutier here. Fizz has a responsibility to develop Moutier as well. And I'm gonna just preach patience, man. I know it's kind of hard. I know it's hard because you see watching people across the pond who are doing way better than Frank is right now. But people just develop at different rates. It is what it is. People develop at different rates. It happened for a number of players. It happened for Giannis, who only averaged like 4 or 5 points a game when he was young. He was really raw. It happened for Steve Nash. It happened for Jimmy Butler. It happened for a host of people who only averaged single-digit points, and 4 or 5 years down the line, they became something else. Now, I'm not saying Frank Ntilikina is going to become an all-star. He could just be a reliable role player. He could be our next Drew Holiday. Who knows? I'm just saying that we all kind of have to be patient. On Frank, it's going to be ups and downs. Right now, it seems like he's on a down. Again, we saw stints of him being aggressive a few games. But you know what? It's going to be up and down year, man. Hopefully he finds that confidence. I seen the aggressiveness, but the confidence. The confidence hasn't gone. The confidence seems to have gone back down. But hopefully he'll find that thing that he had before. Ace Bezel saying, nah, Frank just trash. I vehemently disagree. vehemently disagree. Alright, so LPDO24 asked me, since there isn't a true point guard prospect in the upcoming draft, and Kemba and Kyrie can get their superstar max this offseason, if we don't get a top 5 pick, should we draft a shooting guard? Do you wanna draft? Listen, man. Like, I know that there's two schools of thought. Hold on, wait. Let me finish reading this. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Oh, should we? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me finish reading the rest of this question. Should we draft a shooting guard and try to convert the player into a point guard so we don't have to overplay or commit to years to someone who isn't the answer? Okay, so at this point, I would say we are in the asset collection portion of our rebuild. So even though there's not any top point guards really right now, maybe we just take the best asset we have and then try to flip that for somebody else. So if it's a Zion, if it's a Cam Reddish, maybe we draft that and we decide, do you want to keep the person we draft and maybe trade a shooting guard that we have on the roster or a small forward that we have on our roster, powerful, whatever, to try to get that point guard that we need. So yeah, I think we should just grab the best dude. If Michael Jordan is available at 2, and you go to 3, and it's a serviceable role player, but it's something that we need, I'm drafting Michael Jordan. So yeah, I'll say that. Alright, so Dark Shadow Media TV has another question. When is the honeymoon period going to be over for Fizz and we start holding him accountable for the lack of defense? I know the defense, we got college players, bro. We got college players. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be patient and hope that the defense gets together. But I really don't think the defense, like I said earlier, I don't think the defense is going to get together until some of our defensive players take a step on the offensive end and start getting more minutes. To be honest with you. That's the only time, like, these guys like Frank and Mitch, I think somebody has to develop. Because I don't know. Like I said earlier, defense is probably the hardest thing to learn in the NBA. I'm not sure how long it's going to take for Moutier to learn it. Enes Kanter, he is what he is right now. He's not going to learn it. And we're not going to be able to really defend with Enes Kanter in the starting lineup the way we want to. So really, it's really going to be up to Mitch or even Luke Cornett. Like somebody like Luke Cornett, right? Luke Cornett played great defense for us versus Charlotte. He was the single reason why that zone defense probably worked for us guys. But today he shot what? He didn't shoot so well. So you kind of have to think that when Luke Cornett starts to shoot well and he's able to play defense, he'll be on the floor more, our defensive rating will go up, and then Fizz is going to look like a genius. But somebody has to give. They either have to, I think our defensive players are going to have to kind of step up and learn, in my opinion. Ace Bezel wants to know what are Frank's defensive numbers this year. Ace, I'm not sure what Frank's defensive numbers are this year. I could look it up maybe. But here's the thing with Frank Ntilikina though, dog. He hasn't played as many minutes this year, I feel. And I know he's like a steals leader, right? Like I'm not sure if his defensive stats are going to be steals blocks. Even though it would be nice to see a steal and a block a game. But like I said, Frank Ntilikina's defensive ability is more on the pick and roll defense side. And I don't know his pick and roll defensive numbers off the jump. I can look that up in the future. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. It says, Above the Rim asked me, do you see us being one of the bottom 3 teams in the league? Shit, man. It's possible, man. It's possible. I don't know, man. Like, listen. It's possible, but like, here's the thing, though, with that. I don't even think that we have to be a bottom 3 team to get the number 1 pick. Like, it doesn't have to be that way right now. I still kind of feel like we can be a number 5 team, a bottom 5, and still be good. So look, let's check. Wait, if you go to Tankathon right now, Chicago is leading the tank right now. Atlanta, Cleveland, Phoenix, and New York. Chicago lost 2. Atlanta lost 1. Cleveland lost 1. And Phoenix wins 4 in a row. Now, I know y'all know we lost to Phoenix the other day. So if you are watching the Tankathon, I know it's embarrassing that we lost to Phoenix. But that helps us in the Tankathon. So you know what? It's very possible in the foreseeable future that we move from the number 5 spot into the number 4 spot. And that increases our chances from 10.5% to 13.2% of getting the number 1 pick. But here's the thing. Chicago tank. Let me say this about the Chicago tank, though, yo. I don't know if we can stop the Chicago tank. Chicago tank is 7-25. Chicago is a mess, dog. They are a bloody mess. I really can't see us beating Chicago at all. I really can't see EBS being worse than Atlanta. Phoenix and Cleveland, though, I can see it. I can see it. Because Cleveland got some young pieces. They got Dellavedova back. You never know, man. You never know. So, yo, let me get back to these questions right quick. Next question's from Ayopoa. Are you against the idea of sending Frank unexperienced players to Dykeman ball? Yo. Don't you think he can learn a lot from playing pickup games? Yeah. Yo. I mean, they mentioned in the game that Frank never played a pickup game in his whole life. Shouldn't that worry us, especially as a point guard? Hell yeah, listen, man. any experience playing any basketball anywhere, I'm all for it. I would love to have Frank play some pickup game, go to Dykeman and see what it is and get that aggression. Know what I mean? I'm not concerned that he's never played at Dykeman or anything like that. That's not a concern for me. I know what that is. We from New York, you know. You know, me and you from New York. We are New York Knicks. We a point guard team. Dykeman is the epitome of somebody being tough and the grit. And we would think that if you can play in Dykeman, you can play anywhere. But listen, man, the NBA is better than the Dykeman. But I also believe that it would be beneficial, man. It would be beneficial for Frank to play in Dykeman. So you know what? Hell yeah, man. Bring Frank to Dykeman. I would love to see that, yo. I would love to see Frank play in Dykeman. Yo, bring that man down there. Summer League. When the summer comes, I know he's talking about playing in France and joining France to play with them. Yo, bring Frank to Dykeman. I want to see this guy pull off a shan guard between the legs, behind the back. I want to see it. Burke, bring your boy Frank to Dykeman. Let's see what happens, dog. Let's do it. I'm with it. Alright, next question from Ron EP. What's good, Ron EP? He said, who is our floor leader? Alright, let's see. Right now, dog, the Knicks don't know who they are. The Knicks don't know who they are. It's really hard to say who is a leader of this team. Like, you can look and say, well, Tim Hardaway Jr. could be our leader. Is he? I don't know. He had a chance to be a leader this season. He caught the plantar fasciitis. He seemed like he was more vocal. But I know for us and you guys watching, we've also seen him unjustly yell at other teammates for no reason. So is he our leader? I don't know. Now, the team thinks that Lance Thomas is our leader, but he's not on that floor. If you're looking at Lance Thomas stats, Lance Thomas played 17 minutes tonight and only gave us 3 points, 2 rebounds. But he's supposed to be our defensive guy, defensive leader. So can he be our leader? I don't know, but it seems like those guys respect him in the locker room. So as of now, I don't really know who our leader is, to be honest with you. Maybe it could be Moutier. Who knows? He seems like our point guard. You would like the point guard to be the leader of this team, to be an extension of the coach. And on the offensive end, it seems like he's been pretty good. It seems like he's pretty good at pacing. He's been pretty good at setting his teammates up. If you look at the numbers, even our assist numbers, we got 22 assists today, and we've been bottom of the league in assists all year long. All year long. And the assists are going up since Moutier started in the starting lineup. I'm not saying Moutier is the option. I'm not saying he is the leader. I'm just saying maybe he could be in the future if he's that good. I don't know. It's still really too early to announce him a leader. He's learned the game himself, and he's just barely being in the league. But we really don't have a leader, to be honest with you. You would like the point guard to be a leader. The closest thing we have to leader right now is Lance Thomas and Tim Hardaway Jr. And that's about it. Hopefully we get a leader next season. Who knows? Even if KD comes here, which is a far shot, I'm not even sure KD would be a leader, dog. Like, he'd be a leader in points, but I'm not sure if KD is a leader in his heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that's that guy. I don't know if he's a leader. All right, Pedesant asks me. Shout out to Pedesant. Yo, before I get to the next question, yo, shout out to the chat. The restream isn't working, so the Twitter and the Facebook isn't down. So if you're rocking with us because you're on YouTube. So shout out to the chat for YouTube holding us down. Anybody new in the chat? Is there anybody new in the chat? Let me know. But shout out to the chat holding me down. Yo, shout out to my chat too, CJ Rayford Andrew Wilson. Shout out S.J. Parker, Andrew Wilson, Carmine LaRosa. Shout out to the chat, y'all. Shout out for holding me down. For real, for real. And thanks for checking with me, staying with me through the technical difficulties. I know we had to switch it up to the questions, the forum format questions, but thanks for hanging with us thus far, man. Ayopo says the closest thing we have a lead to now is Clyde Frazier, and he's not even playing. Word, man. Get Clyde Frazier on the coaching staff. I know Fizz had all these guys in the coaching staff, like Rasheed Wallace and Clyde Frazier, and like bring those guys back, man. We've been on a little slump. I think it's time for a pick me up. Bring those guys back. But yeah, shout out to the chat, Oscar J. Yo, shout out to KnicksFanTV Dave for holding it down. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the John. Alright. So Petter Science asks, would you really want Zion even though we have Porzingis and Mitch? How about Barrett to play too? Listen, man, I'm not the best player available, dog. I'm not the best player available at this point. So even if we get Zion, we flip somebody else, I would do it. I would do that in a heartbeat. And listen, man, who knows? Like, Zion is 6'6". So he's a big guy. I know he might be playing power forward, but maybe you play him as small forward. Who knows? Maybe that jump shot can come along. Who knows? I wouldn't be opposed to having Barrett here either, though. I definitely wouldn't be opposed to having Barrett here. I'm just saying I'm taking the best guy available. And if that's Barrett, then we got traded too, then so be it. Ace Bezel says, come on, Jay Ellis. Frank wasn't even that good in France. Yo, it's funny you say that because, listen, man, not all European players are good overseas. Not all young players have high usage rates in Europe. That's why it's kind of tricky bringing over young European players. Because when you're playing in Europe, 9 times out of 10, the older guys get the bulk of the minutes. And not only get the bulk of the minutes, they get the bulk of the touches. When Frank was in France, his job was to pass the ball and get out the way. Point blank, period. That's the way it was. If you're a 19-year-old kid, 18-year-old kid, you're not getting touches in the European League, dog. Yes, it's not. There's Luka. Everybody's praising Luka Doncic, and they should. They should hold down. They should big up Luka. But listen, man, Luka is an anomaly, dog. Luka is an anomaly. If you're looking at KP and his numbers before he got to the Knicks, KP did not average a bunch of shots. He wasn't shooting a lot because he was young. He was getting that he was getting the Frank treatment, dog. He was getting the Frank treatment. You're only getting this many minutes per game, and you're only shooting this many shots per game. That's all that was happening for KP. And so what you're kind of doing is you're looking for little things that can translate: the defense, the shooting, the work ethic, When the Knicks were scouting Frank in Europe, his 3-point shooting percentage was around the 40% mark. His mid-range is pretty good. I know he's not translating right now, but his numbers were a lot more. They were a lot better in Europe. And granted, it's different because his usage rate was so much lower. But you think that some of that can translate. Is all I'm saying. So you got to give this guy time. And the same thing can be said for KP. KP had a very low usage rate in Europe. He got here. We saw something in him. And now we're molding him to be the man. And he's risen to that occasion. He's taking the next step. And you're hoping that same thing's going to happen with Frank. So LPDO and 24 says, with all the losing since drafting KP, do you think he would demand a trade if he comes back healthy and we continue to lose? Obviously not this year. Obviously not this year. I'm sorry. Hold on. But about 2019 and beyond. Listen, man. I gotta be honest. I can see it. I can definitely see it. But this is why Fizz is here. This is why Fizz is here. This is why this new coaching staff is here, man. This Fizz is here, and his new coaching staff is here to breathe life and hope into KP, these young guys, the NBA, and pretty much everybody watching. Like that's what he's here for. And you gotta kind of think that you see what Fizz has done with Moutier here, and you gotta kind of have hope that Fizz can take that same work ethic and that same developmental staff and apply it to somebody with the talent of KP, and it will translate. So that's what you're banking on. You're banking on Fizz giving KP the confidence to take his game to even another level. And you're also banking on Fizz taking some of these young pieces and growing them. So then you start to look up at guys like Knox. You start to look up at Tim Hardaway Jr. if he's still here. You start to look at KP. You start to look at maybe Moutier, maybe Frank. And you think, okay, we have a collection of guys who actually grown with the team and are better now. And we can avoid that catastrophe of KP leaving in a few years, pretty much. Yeah, yeah, man. Like, it's always a threat because right now you see these rumors out here with AD. AD is a threat to leave right now. And they're talking about AD going to the Lakers. He's been there. It's almost his prime, and he wants to leave. I can definitely see it happen with us, but I think that we're in good shape. As of now, I still have faith in the front office. I still have faith in the franchise. Tyson Chandler came out and says he feels like we can land a big free agent. And I think if we stay the course, we'll be fine. And we end up keeping KP ultimately. You know, KP's a New York dude, man. This guy is rocking Timbs. He's chilling. Yo, KP is a New York guy, dog. KP is a New York guy. He has a New York swag. I feel like if we show any sign of inkling of improving, he's gonna rock with us. He's gonna be patient, and Fizz is gonna get that guy right too. So Java the God says, do you think we can bring in an actual good point guard like a Rubio to help mold Frank? Would it be a good investment? Jab the God from San Bernardino, California, born in Brooklyn. Yo, shout out to Jab the God. Thanks for holding down Cali for us, man. As known, there's a lot of Lakers nonsense happening over there with LeBron. So thanks for representing the Knicks. It depends, man. Like I wouldn't. It depends. It depends. I personally, I think I mentioned this a lot in the last podcast. I think Rubio is a solid guy. A solid guy. Solid on offense. Solid on defense. Not a world beater. But I feel like Rubio is a pretty solid point guard. And I think he might be good for Frank. But is that what he needs right now? I think we had that in Jarrett Jack. And what I really think Frank needs right now is just the coaching staff and more reps, to be honest with you. The coaching staff and more reps. So yeah. I don't necessarily think we need Rubio here to teach Frank. Like I said, we see what Fizz and the coaching staff is doing with Moutier. There's no reason for me to believe that same thing can happen for Frank if we stay the course and kind of help him develop. Okay. Above the rim, thanks for hitting me up. He asks, why is it so hard for people to believe KD can come to the Knicks? Dog, it's because, listen, we've been burnt before, dog. We've been burnt before. The Knicks don't have the best track record, man. The Knicks don't have the best track record. We kind of had a scarlet letter on our backs for a long time because of James Dolan and what this organization has done, the fiscal irresponsibility, the way we treated our players, the way we run our franchise. It's been tumultuous for us in general. And now we got to prove it. And we have a new staff, we have new players, we have a new mindset. Now we got to prove it. And listen, man, this year has been the best year for us as far as drama. Already that's going a long way for us. We've had drama. We had Derrick Rose going missing on milk cartons. We've had Joakim Noah being too lit for New York, getting to a 7 match with Jeff Hornacek. We've had Vaseline. We have crazy sex cases from Isaiah Thomas era. We've had a run of bad luck, dog. The Knicks franchise has not been looking good for a long time, so we need a rebrand. We need a rebrand. So when you think about why you don't think KD would come to the Knicks, it's because, one, we need a rebrand, and two, we haven't been winning. Right now, the ship is turning, right? The ship is turning. That rebrand is coming. You can already see that we are heading in the right direction, so we're taking steps to be taken seriously again. That's happening. That's the first step. But the next step is they got to see potential in our young players. We got to start putting together some wins, and then teams can start taking us seriously. Now, right now, we are losing. Losing is good for the tank. If we're losing right now, that's going to be great for the tank. And what's great for the tank is bad for free agency. It's going to be a trade-off. Best case scenario, like, really, that's what it is. What's best for the tank is bad for free agency. So all you guys like, oh, we should tank and you want KD? That might not happen if we're losing, dog. Straight up. That might not happen if we're losing. Like, the only way I can possibly see us profiting from tanking and getting KD at the same time is if we tank, we're top 3 pick, we magically trade Tim Hardaway Jr. to the Mavs because that's actually possible. Then we end up trading Courtney Lee as well. That means, despite having a crappy record, we would have a high draft pick plus room for 2 top picks. I mean, for 2 top free agents, max free agents, and then we'll be good. That's the only way I can see us tanking and getting KD at the same time. Because I don't really think KD will come here dolo. I think the only way KD comes here if he has a buddy with him. Kawhi, Kyrie, something like that, in my opinion. Ace Bezel. What's a realistic contract for KP? KP getting that max, dog. Listen, KP is getting the max. That's just what it is. If KP did not get the max, KP is walking. His brothers ain't having it, dog. Giannis and them ain't walking out with KP not getting the max. That's a fact. I don't care how many injuries he had. I don't care, ACL, MCL. None. I don't care what. KP getting the max, dog. It is what it is. KP getting the max. Gotta get used to it. Just get used to the idea that we're gonna have cap tied up in KP. I know that people are kind of concerned, but we don't have a choice. H. Bezel says, and have you really seen enough to think he's worth a max? At this point, it's a gamble, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie. It's a gamble. It's a gamble. But you kind of have to gamble. Like it's a hope thing, man. You thinking, like I said earlier, you thinking Fizz did something with Moutier, and you figure KP's talent is above Moutier's talent, so you rest in a solace that you feel like Fizz will be able to develop KP and the max contract we are going to give him, because it's happening. It's definitely happening. You think he'll grow into that max contract when we give it to him? So yeah, like you and you know what? I know it's a risk, but we gotta do it. We have to. How many? We have to. We have to. Like, he's respected around the NBA. Guys want to play with him. He's a hard worker. We know that. You're a little nervous about the ACL thing, but you're hoping this buff doctor dude who's training him in Spain could get this kid right, physically and mentally. And I'm not 100% sure that he'll live up to that max contract and that max pressure, but I'm confident that he'll do well in New York, and I'm confident that Fizz can get him right at some point. But you know, it's a gamble, dog. It just is. Above the rim says, do you think Steve Mills would trade Timmy, knowing he gave Hardaway that contract? I tried to ask myself this question when I read those crazy trade rumors, dog. I don't know. I don't know. Listen, Tim Hardaway, it's funny because, you know, Tim Hardaway Sr. is buddy with the organization. It's kind of like, you know, he's an NBA player, is respected. Fizz literally saw Timmy grow up. So it's hard for me to imagine that they would trade Tim Hardaway Jr. So I really don't know the answer to that question, to be honest with you. I do feel like the answer would definitely be yes, if they had an inkling that a Kawhi or a KD was coming, and the only thing standing behind them getting away with that is Tim Hardaway Jr. being there. Then I think yes. Other than that, I don't know, dog. I don't know, man. He's engraved in this team. They really have his back. And like you said, Mills really loved him. He brought him back here, gave him a trade kicker and everything. Man. Okay, so Ayopo was good, man. He said, let's talk about Jamal Crawford playing more Nick-like than the whole team last game. Yo, shout out to Jamal Crawford, dog. Jamal Crawford is like 175 million years old, and he's still giving it to people, dog. A career high against the Knicks. I don't like giving people props not on the Knicks, but Jamal Crawford is ex-Knicks, so he has a kind of a place in my heart. Jamal Crawford, shout out to you. We had a pretty good team before you got traded with Zebo and them when we tried to bring Carmelo here. Shout out to Jamal. Let's talk about Jamal Crawford playing more like the Knicks and the whole team last game. I did thought it was 2007. I went to MySpace, my iPhone, turned to the sidekick. Once a Knick, always a Knick. It was good for Frank to see what a true Knick point guard was. We need the old Knicks players to show the way. I feel you, but I wish he didn't show us the way on another team, dog. Like I wish he didn't play that well. But shout out to Jamal, man. I'm always gonna have a special place for my heart to Jamal. Jamal is that dude from Seattle. I know Lonzo Trier is also from Seattle, and he also has a special place for Jamal. I think Jamal mentored Trier, if I'm not mistaken. So shout out to Jamal, shout out to Seattle native, shout out to Trey as well. Yo, Trey, man, you gotta remember too, we losing all these games. We're losing all these games. We're missing a lot of reliable shooting. Like Dotson was out, he's a reliable shooter, and Trey, man, he was shooting close 50% for us, and close to like 37%, I believe, from threes off the top of the head. That's a lot of reliable scoring off the bench that we don't have anymore. It seems like our bench is kind of struggling to score, and that makes a huge difference. But look out, dog. Look out for, because Trey's been out with the hamstring. Look out. Look at Frank's minutes, because Frank hasn't even played that many minutes today. He really hasn't. Check Frank's minutes when Trey returns. It might even look even fuzzier for Trey Burke when Trey returns. I can imagine the trade going on to the trade deadline, man, because people need to play, man. People need to play. Bobo. Alright, so let's go. Let's go. Ace Bezel. So us Knicks fans should get ready for stat part 2. Stat part 2? What are you saying, stat part? I'm missing the correlation here, Ace Bezel. What do you mean stat part 2? Bobo? Let me know what I'm missing. Yo, shout out to the chat as well. Sometimes. Oh man, anybody new in the chat? Let me know. Let me know. Thanks for rocking with me. Thanks for rocking with the Good Time Show. Thanks for knocking with KnicksFanTV. Thank you for rocking with us. Always, we're here after every game, holding it down. I know it's been a rough day on the technical side. I thought I had it down pat. My computer was acting whack. Hopefully that shit be fixed next game for the next post game live. So shout out to you guys. I ran through all these questions. I've been here for mad long, an hour and a half. I'm about ready to wrap it up, dog. I'm about ready to wrap it up. So if you guys don't have any questions, I'm about to, let's see. What time is it? I might as well, let's see. I might as well do the player ratings. Should I even player rate anybody? Like, this game is, I hate player rating by myself, first of all. And I hate player rating when it's obvious the whackness that secreted from this team. Although I will say it is the 76ers. So you kind of expect that we're going to lose to the 76ers. But I just hate losing, dog. This Knicks team, man, we haven't been losing by 20 much. What made this year's Knicks fun to watch is that it seemed like we were in most of the games. And to have multiple back-to-back games where we're giving up damn near 40 points in the quarter, or damn near 69 points at a half, or like, it gets tiresome, man. It gets tiresome. But I gotta remember that we're a young team and we can get it together. Alright, so player ratings. If I'm looking, who should I give the top spot to? Alright, you know what? I already got my top spot. That third spot is always the kicker. But let's see. I'm going to give, for my third spot, I'm giving it to Dotson. Third spot to Dotson. Dotson had a bad shoulder. He had a bad shooting shoulder, which is next level, dog. It's not even his offhand. His shooting shoulder is bad. So shout out to Dotson. He gave you 14 points in 22 minutes. 6-11 for a field. I still feel like he is our most reliable shooter. He has to be here to me, in my opinion, long term. Yo, shout out to Frank for saying good job. Thanks, man. I'm trying to hold it down. The technical, I know basketball is really the technical stuff that's really weird for me. That takes some getting used to. But thanks for. But yeah, so Dotson. I will say Dotson is my third star for tonight, and I use the term star loosely. It's funny because I can arguably say I can make him my second, even though I like Knox's numbers better. Because I felt like he was more of a disruptor tonight on the defensive end. If I'm taking offense and defense into account. You know what? I'm doing that. I'm doing it. That is true. He was scoring in garbage time. He was scoring in garbage time. I give you that. I give you that. He was scoring in garbage time. You're right. So, you know what? I'll give Dotson the third star tonight for for fighting. He forced some things on the defensive end a little bit. He was part of that hot start in that first quarter when we had 5 threes in the first. So I'm gonna give Dotson that star. Second star is going to my guy Kevin Knox. Kevin Knox is on a nice little streak scoring wise. He has over 15 points for how many games now? I think 16. I mean, not 16, like 6 or 7 straight games now. He's starting to figure it out, man. The only thing I didn't like about this game is I usually get like a steal or block from Knox over these past games. And that's been the really encouraging thing that I've seen from Knox, that he's been locked in on the defensive end a lot better, at least off the ball. His off-ball defense has been pretty good. But I'm going to give Knox that second spot. And my number one has to be Tim Hardaway Jr. Welcome back, Tim. 27 points, 5 assists, man. 5 assists. 5 assists. For a guy who we say chucks a lot, 5 assists is a big number for Tim, man. A big number for Tim. I like to see that he's passing. 2 steals as well. That night off was huge. And perfect. 10 from 10 from the 3-point line. So I'm giving the number 1 to Tim Hardaway Jr. for sure. Honorable mention. I'm gonna give honorable mention to Moutier didn't shoot well, but I like the way he ran the offense. He had good shots. I like the way he ran the offense. I like the way he paced the game. So this is like a little tie for honorable mention between Moutier and Vonleh. Because Vonleh had to also guard. At one point, Vonleh was guarding Ben Simmons. And he was guarding Joel Embiid. Now, Joel Embiid was punishing dudes, yo. But I know Ben Simmons had a triple-double, but it was an honorable effort from Vonleh to guard Ben Simmons. So, and I also like the way Moutier set the table. So, yep. Now, as a rating, I don't know what number I would give these guys, yo. Because usually my default rating, I know you guys watch the show a lot, is a 7. For when we play well and lose. But, man, the defense was so bad, dog. I don't know if I can give everybody the full 7. So, I'm going to give... I might give everybody the... Jeez, man. I think I'm going to give... Tim Hardaway... No, not Tim Hardaway Jr. I'm going to give Dot and Knox. Now, I'm going to give Knox a little bit higher of a grade. I'm going to give Knox the 7. I'm going to give Knox the 7. I'm going to give Dot close. I'm gonna give him like a 6.8 because he got his points in garbage time, like he pointed out. But I still like this defensive effort. And you know what? I'm gonna give Hardaway a 7.5. No, I'm gonna give Hardaway the 8. Here's the thing about Hardaway, yo. The defense is still bad, but the 10 for 10 free throw, 100% free throw was nothing to snuff at. And the 5 assists I really liked. Which is why I'm struggling on what to give Hardaway Jr. I'm going to settle on a 7.5 because we lost. But 27 points, pretty good showing from Hardaway Jr. I am rolling with that. Yo, shout out to the chat. Let me know if you agree with that rating or not. Let me know, let me know, let me know. The tank, John Jonas is the tank, gets a 9.5. Oh, man. Definitely part of the tank, Commanders. The Shell says the D was terrible. It was a 6. The tank gets a 9.5. Hardaway's a 7. I ain't mad at a 7, dog. I'm not mad at a 7. Yeah, Knicks guards are the worst team pick and roll defenders ever. Dot 7. Knock 7. Okay, all right. Yeah, man. Unfortunately, Frank is the best pick and roll defender we have, but he needs to be able to be aggressive and shoot better, man. He just needs to hit those shots. I have faith in him. Either that or Mude has to watch Frank and see how he guards the pick and roll and do a lot better too. Ah, man. So listen, man. That is the show. I've been on here for a hot minute. I'm tired. But yo, definitely. I just did a really good show with Anthony MSG, aka Anthony Donahue. Had him on the podcast. He chopped it up. He told us some crazy stories about how he met John Starks and how he got his start. So if y'all interested in Anthony MSG, if you grew up on him like I did, he got me into podcasting. So if you like Anthony MSG and you rock with the Nick of Time show, definitely check out the podcast. It's on iTunes and SoundCloud. Link in the description. Check that out for real. Definitely check that out. All my links in the description, man. If you want to get merch, you see the Porzingis hat right here. Go to nickoftimeshow.com/catalog and get your merch today. Definitely get that. Also, if you want to follow me on Facebook, on Twitter, go to the description. On Instagram, go to the description and follow me. And definitely check out the show. Hold on, I'm going to show you the merch real quick. Links in the description, y'all. Links in the description. Definitely show you some support. Listen, man. And listen, the video for the Nick of Time show podcast is dropping Thursday. Tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. Definitely be on the lookout for that. So yeah. Definitely get your merch, dog. If you've never seen the merch before, here's the merch. We got hoodies, t-shirts, the Porzingis hat that I'm rocking right now. It might be a little late for Christmas, but trust me, I got you covered on all the coolest and unique Nick gear, Nick related gear that you can find. The nickoftimeshow.com/catalog. Links are in the description. Alright, so holla at me. If anybody was seeing the footage I had of Anthony MSG, listen, man, I'm not just selling merch to put money in a pocket. I'm selling merch to increase my podcast. I'm trying to get new cameras. I know y'all tired of seeing the big face. I'm trying to get new cameras. I'm trying to get somebody to actually hold the camera for me so we can be real official like Joe Budden podcast out in here, yo. Trust me. I'm really trying to. So if you see the cameras we have in this interview that we're gonna drop on Thursday, it is top notch. That's the quality that I'm aiming for. So if you want to support the podcast, Definitely get the merch. Yo, shout out to CP for having me, man, and building this post game live together. I'm hoping you're enjoying your date with your wifey and your baby. That is all, man. I hope you enjoyed the show. Hit the like button, please, and please subscribe. You won't regret it. Please subscribe to both channels, the Nick of Time Show and KnicksFanTV. Shout out, hold on, me shout out to the chat, my guys, one last time before I go. Andrew Wilson was good as Parker. Thanks for holding me down. John Jala, thanks for holding me down, man. Frank Seinberg, Ace Bezel, thanks for holding me down, Ace Bezel. Sherwin McKenzie, Ronnie P, thanks for holding me down. Ayopo, though, thanks for the questions. KnicksFanTV, Dave, thank you, everybody watching the show. I'm going to bed. Have a great night. I'll see you next game. Peace.